So today we're gonna take a look at something intriguing that most of you guys are wondering. Is Dexter's Dark Passenger truly evil? And we're gonna dive into some crazy fan theories and more, detailed stuff about what's going on with Dexter's Dark Passenger. If you guys just started watching, Dexter, you're probably intrigued with this persona that he calls my Dark Passenger. Now, what's up everybody? MrNova here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. I know this is kind of weird. I'm doing something that's not Marvel or DC related, but we're gonna dive into new things this year. That I want to start a new series where we dive into TV shows, theories, and movie theories. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. I really put all my effort, and honestly, I'm a big fan of Dexter. I watched all the TV shows from it and even read a couple of the book. So hope you guys enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe. But enough of the talking, let's just get straight into the video. So recently, everyone is starting to watch Dexter out of nowhere. It's got brought up again on Netflix, and it kind of went viral in the top 10. So a lot of new fans are joining through. And also with the release of Dexter Original Sin, where they, go back in time. Not literally go back in time, but they go back in time and show us the life of Dexter when he was just straight out of high school. Right after high school, he trying to find his purpose on life, and he starts his career for, Metro PD. So honestly, I think there's a lot of theories that we can go over and a lot of new series and videos that we can go. But for today, we're gonna pretty much dive into this Dark Passenger theory and explain it a little bit more for people that don't really understand it. Race born in blood is how Dexter describes the birth of his Dark Passenger, tied to the blood and trauma he experienced as a child. So Dexter believes that the origin of his Dark Passenger was when he was a little kid and he saw his mother drowning in her own blood in a bath of blood. Dexter was found in pretty much the bathroom floor, covered in blood, in his own mother's blood. So traumatic experiences in real life normally tend to cause problems down the road for people. When a person like a little kid has a big traumatic experience as a kid, it often reflects in the way they act in the near future when they grow up. So it's interesting that Dexter analyzes his own persona like a criminal forensics, where he sees his own flaws and why he's the way he is. He has a scientific explanation to why he's the way he is. A shared burden. Dexter believes his Dark Passenger makes him fundamentally different from others, isolating him eventually and emotionally, even from those he loves. So having the way the Dark Passenger makes him think kind of makes him kind of a lone wolf. And why do I say this? Well, the way he describes his emotions and feelings, it's like he can't really process emotions that well. So when something traumatic happens to someone around him, like a friend, he might not really feel that compassionate towards them. Obviously, we did see throughout the series in Dexter and all the other shows that he does kind of have some sort of feelings where he surprises himself and he's like, I didn't know I had this feeling. It's odd that I'm feeling this way. Because he doesn't understand, because it's not often that he experiences these type of emotions of sadness or worry for someone. So when he does have them, it's kind of odd to him. So he sees it as something unnatural. Deborah's moral compass. After her death, Deborah becomes the internal voice counteracting the Dark Passenger, challenging its control over Dexter's actions. So what it really took for Dexter to realize that maybe he's a psychopath or a sociopath, however you want to call it, there is a difference. by the way, for some people that don't know. We're gonna explain it in a little bit. But for people that don't know, Deborah did die, and it became like his inner voice changing to making him realize, is this the right thing to do? Maybe like a good guidance, like an angel. And honestly, it kind of made him a little bit more human like the rest of us. It gave him a little bit more of emotion and sympathy when his sister died, making him realize that maybe some of his actions are not okay. It's just progression and evolution of the character. Pretty much a predator's instinct, Dexter likens the Dark Passenger to a primal predator living inside him, driving his need to hunt and kill. So he believes that his inner persona of the Dark Passenger is like in a way like a primal predator, where it needs to hunt and kill to survive for the eagerness. Can't really control his emotions, but he has these big urges. Just like if you start smoking or drinking, or maybe you like a lot of candy, for example, a lot of soda, a lot of pizza, these cravings, he perceives it as a Dark Passenger that wants the cravings. It's always watching. Dexter often describes the Dark Passenger as a constant presence, observe his life and waiting for opportunities to surface. So he believes the Dark Passenger is just in the back of his head and in his mind, always waiting to strike at the right time whenever he needs to. Think about it like an alternate persona, but not really. Dexter does not seem to have a split personality, considering the effects of what split personality consists of. This is more of a psychopath into like a sociopath persona. And honestly, my bad, it's kind of interesting how this kind of works. And conflicted identity. The Dark Passenger is both Dexter's tool for survival and his greatest enemy, creating an ongoing internal battle. So that is very true. Throughout the show, we see that Dexter is able to get out of situations where he might not be able to get out if he was a regular person with a lot of sympathy and emotions, meaning that the Dark Passenger does help him for survival purposes, like survival of the fittest. But when it comes to other things, it could also mean his greatest enemy, getting caught for murder, or getting caught for something, or making him look a little bit weird or unsympathetic, if you know what I mean. Not unique. In the novels, Dexter encounters others who seem to have their own version of the Dark Passenger, suggesting it might not be exclusive to him. So pretty much in the novels as well in the TV shows, we do see that he meets other people with Dark Passengers who do have cravings to kill other people, where it does have a difference though. Dexter is more of an anti-hero, where he thinks that the Dark Passenger should only eliminate, aka kill, the people that deserve it, like for example maybe pedophiles, convicted murderers, bad people that just did something awful, etc, etc. While other Dark Passengers, other people that we see, have their Dark Passenger a little bit more into the crazy psychopath, where they don't really care about other people's emotions and attack anyone even if they're innocent. And that's the difference between these people. Dexter is more of an anti-hero in the world of like a Robin Hood, where he needs to kill people, but he kills with a code, and it's a code of kill the people that it's pretty much, when you put it on layman's term, people that are bad, pretty much. So catalyst for the code. Without the Dark Passenger, Dexter would never have developed Harry's code, which becomes his guiding principle for living among society, meaning that without that Dark Passenger, Dexter would probably just be a regular human like you and me. A love-hate relationship. Dexter sometimes sees the Dark Passenger as a necessary evil. Without it, he might lack purpose or direction, so now he relies a lot on the Dark Passenger. Throughout the show, we do see that Dexter relies a lot on his inner monologue, meaning that he relies a lot on that Dark Passenger instinct of him, that primal instinct to hunt and kill, which does help him survive a lot. Symbol of humanity. Some fans argue that the Dark Passenger is a representation of Dexter's suppressed humanity, as he kills are often emotional responses to his victims' crimes. So it could pretty much symbolize that he still might have some humanity inside of him, but it's hard to argue in whether or not it is. Obviously, anything that has to do with killing another human is wrong. But when you really think about it in the perspective of he's doing justice, he is in a way, in his own mind, kind of doing justice by killing the people that deserve it, that the judicial system might not really fully make justice for. So in a way, if you're a fan of Dexter's Dark Passenger, you might see him as Robin Hood, or you might see him as a total serial killer that has, it's truly evil. In my opinion, I think we see a little bit of both, where Dexter can be seen as an anti-hero, and I love his perspective in life and how he perceives encounters with people. He tries to analyze them, meaning he kind of has humanity in him. He cares a little bit, and it really shows throughout the show, where he tries to never hurt any of his friends. Obviously, we do see that if one of his friends crosses him, he does whatever it takes to make sure there's no problem with the person that crossed him. Meaning that if you're friends with him, it's okay, but if you cross him, it might not be okay, which is a double knife sword type of deal. But honestly, that's a pretty interesting way to see the Dark Passenger. Now, in my perspective, I do believe Dexter has some type of good in him, and it's just about making sure, you know, he has the right people around him that show him that there is good in humans. And I'm very curious to find out, how do you feel about Dexter and the new TV show Dexter Original Sin, where they dived into the younger Dexter and how he started his, I guess in a way, Bay Harbor Butch serial killer career. I'm very curious to find out how you guys feel about that. And honestly, leave a comment down below. I'm pretty curious. I really hope you guys are enjoying these type of videos. I really want to hope and start this new thing this year where we do theories. And if this gets a lot of, you know, good feedback, I'm gonna start a new Dexter series where we dive into Dexter more in detail and other stuff. So make sure to come back and show some support if you're trying to see that. But as always, I'm MrNova, and I'm out. Peace.